How can we go from expressing something that sounds really happy and bright and make it sound depressing, sad? Well, today we're going to be playing around with emotions by playing around with pitch. We're going to be doing this by using a haiku that is using a lot of E sounds. You hear that E, E, E? You want to be careful with this if you're someone who's watching this but also learning English. You want to make sure you're not saying like E, E, E. We're projecting lower. Get a lot of resonance and breath through this. It's more E, E, E. A couple key words that I want us to make sure that we're saying in a nice way. We'll practice saying them bright and happy, and then we'll practice saying them again lower in pitch and sad. So I want you to kind of compare. It's like seasons. Seasons. See the difference in pitch? Can you match both of those? Seasons. Seasons. Greetings. Greetings. Sheet. Sheet. Beneath. Beneath. We're able to match all those pitches. If you find that to be hard, you can also try doing a little scale. Like, let's take one of the words. Let's use maybe like sheet. Can you go down a couple times? Like sheet, 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 sheet. If you're still finding that hard too, you can try dragging, like sheet. Another thing you can try doing too is changing your face a little bit. Try doing this experiment. Try smiling just for like 3 seconds, okay? 1, 2, 3. And then try saying sheet, sheet. And then do the opposite. Let's make a sad face. Real sad, frowning. Hold that for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then try saying sheet, sheet, sheet. Notice that when I'm doing this, my body almost naturally wants it to fall. Versus when I smile, I naturally want to send things higher. You can change the expression of your face and your body language to have an impact on the way you say things. Another way you can kind of play around with that too is you can go higher by, for instance, look up a little bit. So if you look up and then try saying like sheet, sheet, and then try looking down and try saying sheet, sheet. See how it just naturally is going to have some change to it. See, like sheet, 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 sheet. Play around with it, play around with maybe having your shoulders up high versus having your shoulders down versus maybe slouching, things like that. Change your body position to play around with the different pitches that we get. Now then, let's take a look at the text that we're going to be using for this. Let's just do a cold read, not really targeting any specific emotions before we start playing around with pitch a little bit more. Here we go. Season's greetings. A sheet of... Let me read you that. Season's greetings. A garden bed beneath a sheet of frost. Okay, so let's try to make this sound a little bit more expressive because right now it's a little bit flat. And let's give ourselves a situation. Let's say that we start off really excited about seeing this garden bed, but then we see the frost. And I don't know if any of you are gardeners, but that first frost of the season, especially if it catches you off guard, can make you not feel so happy about how your garden looks in the morning after. So let's imagine that by the time we get to the end of the poem, we're not feeling quite so happy. Okay, so let's start happy. Raising the pitch, higher pitches, getting these E sounds. I want you to smile. Okay, smile for 3 seconds. I'm going to give you a couple other body cues I want you to experiment with too. Let's do a slight little head tilt. Slight little head tilt. My natural default position when I tilt my head is like this. And the other thing I want you to do, in addition to smiling and doing the head tilt, is I want you to wave a little bit. Because we're starting off with a greeting, right? Okay, so doing all those things. Slight head tilt, smile, wave, and we're going to say season's greetings. 1, 2, 3. Season's greetings. Season's greetings. Okay? Our next sentence, we're not going to get full-on depressed, sad, dejected just yet. We're going to notice the garden bed. Okay, and we're going to start sliding into that realization that the garden bed's not doing quite what we want it to yet. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit more muted. So let's take our head tilt and maybe straighten. So remember, we start off head tilt, smiling, waving, and then let's maybe stop the wave, put the head straight. You can keep the smile. Okay, and we're going to say a garden bed. Notice that the pitch isn't quite as high now. A garden bed. And notice that my voice is starting to get a little softer, right? Before I was talking like this. This is firm and bright. But now I'm talking just a little bit softer. It's not quite as firm. Okay. Still may be happy, but not the same energy of where we started, right? Okay. So let's go back to our first position. Okay. So smiling, waving, slight head tilt. Season's greetings. Season's greetings. Shift head back middle. Stop the wave. Maybe do like a little slash motion with the hand or something, like a garden bed. A garden bed. Let's maybe add the word beneath to that too. Let's get that E sound. It's like a garden bed beneath. And then we get to our final part. And now we are trying to show that we are sad. We've realized that our garden is not going to survive. We're worried about it. Maybe a little depressed about it. Spent a lot of work on this garden. So what we're going to do, we're going to lower our pitch. That's the first thing. We started really high with the season's greetings, but now we're going to be really low in pitch. Some things that again may help you to get low in pitch. Make a sad face. Look down a little bit. Okay. And we're going to use that phrase, a sheet of frost. A sheet of frost. Okay. Were you able to say it like that? Make sure you're not saying like a sheet of frost. We're sad about this in this example. We're like a sheet of frost. Okay. So remember, let's walk through all our emotions really quick and then we'll wrap this up. So we start off smiling, maybe looking up a little bit, slight head tilt, waving, season's greetings. Then we straighten the head. We stop waving, maybe we do a little slash, and we have a little smile, but not as big as before. And in this case, what we're going to say again is a garden bed beneath, a garden bed beneath. And then we get the full realization that our garden may not survive. So we're sad, sad face, looking down. And we may drop our hand and we may say a sheet of frost. Notice that we get softer, we get quieter. So let's put that all together. Do you remember all the steps? Let's try. Okay. So again, wave, smile, slight head tilt. Season's greetings. A garden bed beneath. A sheet of frost. Were you able to keep up with me? Are you able to get the softness? Are you able to get the body positions, the facial expressions, the gestures with the hand? Are you getting your hand involved? And then lastly, are you able to match the pitches? The high pitch to start, the bright, the happy, the medium pitch, and then our low pitch. Are you able to do those things? Let's keep working on these aspects of performance. Here is another video that touches on another aspect to help deliver your message in a way that's a little bit more expressive and impactful.